Hey, what's good with y'all? It's your main man, Chief Sock G. Took my black ass to the movie theater this week, man, and I went and saw that new James Cameron movie, Avatar: The Way of Water. And I just want to tell y'all what that movie is really about. Now, Avatar: The Way of Water is the sequel to the original Avatar movie that came out, let's say, about 10 years ago. It was a real popular movie, highly touted. James Cameron is one of those directors in Hollywood that was known for, the big blockbuster type of movies. Those movies that have a lot of action set pieces, real big sets with a whole lot of, visuals and things to really, suck you into the story and really get you into the world of what it is that they trying to show you in the movie. You know what I'm saying? And I remember 10 years ago, man, when that movie came out, it was clearly a story about colonization and about the inflection point of two cultures meeting and crisscrossing with one another. And I don't know, man, 10 years ago when I saw the original Avatar movie, it didn't really hit me like this one did. And you know I left this movie feeling far more incensed about colonization and about the interruption of the native peoples of the world with their cultures and their original way of life and their connection to everything that made them who they were a whole lot more this time around than I did with the first one. But let me just go ahead and get into a brief synopsis and breakdown of the movie for y'all. So Avatar: The Way of the Water picks up about 15 years after the events of the first movie. The first movie, like I said, was a movie about colonization. We're introduced to the world of a planet called Pandora and the native people who are called the Na'vi. And we get to, through the eyes of an oppressor who's handicapped and, isn't able to do so much of the raping, murdering, robbing, and pillaging. He's given an opportunity to go into the world of these native peoples and to learn their culture and to learn their way of life and to develop an appreciation for who they are and their spiritual connections to the nature and to the planet and to the God, and understanding how all things are interconnected and all things are spiritual, and there's a certain respect that all life should have for other life. And so in that first movie, the protagonist, of course, turns his back on the colonizers. Saying he sides with the native peoples. They fight the colonizers. They win. It's a victory. It's a beautiful thing. So this movie picks up 15 years later. The protagonist from the first movie now has a family. He's got a wife. He's got kids. You know what I'm saying? And like colonizers do, these motherfuckers come back. And they come back this time bigger and badder and stronger and more determined to murder, rape, rob, and pillage and terraform the land and, rob the planet of its resources and just be cruel, evil, disgusting motherfuckers. And so the protagonist from the first movie somehow believes that if he takes his family and he flees the woods, that that's going to stop the colonizers, which didn't make any sense. Him having been a colonizer, knowing how colonization works, I don't know what made him think that running meant anything was going to change. And so the movie starts with him just abandoning the people of the woods. Like, the rest of the movie goes on, and we never even get to see what happened to all the people he just left in the fucking wilderness. You know what I'm saying? But he goes and travels to some faraway land, and he comes to in contact with another group of native peoples. And these native peoples live by the water, and they have a different culture. They've developed, their bodies a different way. So we get to, him going to fleeing to the water and trying to hide out among these people is how we get introduced to the way of the water. And so much of the movie is spent showing him and his children and his family trying to adapt to the culture of the people of the water. And so we get taken into the world and taken into the it's just the nature of these people who live by the water and their culture. And it's beautiful and it's stunning, and there's a lot of images that's nice to look at, and you get a real feel for these people's connection to this part of the planet and this part of the system of all life working together, much like you did in the first movie. Um, and then that's when it goes back to the colonizers, is when the movie really, for me, started to become insulting. And I'll say this: being a native person, being black, being Native American Indian, I know the story of colonization. I know what happens when a people who are hell bent on murdering, robbing, and raping, and pillaging, and stealing natural resources comes in contact with a people who are, for the most part, peaceable and love and have a connection to the spirit of of God and nature, and how everything is interconnected, and there's a respect and an appreciation for all life and everything that has feelings and everything that has emotions and everything that has consciousness, and then having that all wiped out and destroyed by some cruel, evil motherfuckers. And this movie it goes the extra mile to show an appreciation and a respect and a admiration for these native peoples and their connections to God and nature and spirituality, and how it's so deep and how it's so, you know, it's wholesome and it's righteous. But that shit ain't stronger than our desire to murder, rape, rob, and kill and destroy and pillage you motherfuckers. And so I know what it felt like watching this movie, being on the Na'vi side of things, the native side of things. And I know that in this movie, while the Na'vi or the native people and the planet might get a victory, I know that in real life, those motherfuckers lost. And so I know what it's like being me, being the people who are beautiful and have this natural connection to God and the spirituality. But what is it like being the devil? What is it like being the motherfuckers who murder, rape, rob, and pillage? And so here's, to me, what Avatar: The Way of the Water really is about. Avatar: The Way of the Water is really about the way of the oppressor. Because even though we have an admiration and an understanding and a, appreciation for your connection to all things that are living, and your connection to the nature, and your connection to God, and your connection to righteousness, that shit ain't gonna stop us from doing what we came to do. And really, to me, it's a reaffirming of their dedication to be who they are, no matter what. And so what we must understand, to me, I left that movie feeling like I'm never going to turn my back on my God. I'm never going to forget the righteous nature of my people, and our connection to God, and our connection to nature, and our appreciation for all things that are living, and our empathy towards all things that are peaceable and that are dwelling on the planet the way that the Most High intended for things to be. And I know that this movie was made to discourage my people and all the people of the earth who can see themselves as being the people in that movie. It's meant to discourage us from that connection. It's meant to tell us that even though you can trust in your God and you get your connection and all that blah, 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 our science and our technology and our military prowess is more stronger than all of that. But it ain't true. It might have bared out that way in the past, but maybe we weren't the people we needed to be, and truly appreciated and honored our connection to God and our connection to nature and our connection to everything that's righteous. You understand what I'm saying? On top of that, the movie was way too long. Like, the movie should have ended after 2 hours, but they drug it out for a whole another hour and 10 minutes, and the story got bland, and I really was bored as shit. But watching the movie, it's like, oh, they really letting us know, like, yeah, we know we evil as fuck, and we are destructive, and we have no appreciation or admiration or respect for the planet or for anything that's righteous and honorable in nature. We will kill anything we want. We'll murder everything, even though we'll study it first and have an understanding of it and appreciate, oh man, this is something that's complex and spiritual, and there's some stuff that we can't really explain, how these people are so connected to the planet and so connected to God, and there's something supernatural going on here. But yeah, we want to get the fucking juice out of this whale, so we'll destroy it and kill it and murder it, even though it's, got feelings and emotions and has a whole social structure established with all the other, members of its family. We don't give a fuck about none of that. We gonna rape, murder, rob, pillage, and imprison anything that we can and that we have to do in order to reach our bottom, to reach our quota or to get our bottom dollar. And yeah, some evil motherfuckers, man. So thanks for James Cameron for bringing that, driving that point home. But yeah, man, Avatar, The Way of the Oppressor. Fuck that movie. I'll see y'all on the next one, man. It's your man, Chief Sock G. I'm out.